the world, where Tbilisi stands in traffic jams all day. It comes to the rescue. The Metro.
Okay, I'll admit that was a bit too cringe. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel where after months of planning and pain, I will tell you everything I know about the metro system of Tbilisi, which, if you're a tourist or just a citizen, is your best option for moving around our beautiful city. First of all, logically, I will tell you the history of the metro. Let's begin. The idea of building a metro in Tbilisi first appeared in the 1930s, right after the opening of the Moscow metro. The preparation works happened from 1937 to 1940, but in 1941, due to the Second World War, instead of a metro system, they began the construction of civilian bunker complexes. After the war, Candid Charkuyani went to Lavrenti Beria, who at the time was in charge of the Ministry of Transport Construction, with a proposition to build a metropolitan railway. Beria declined because he wanted Baku to receive one first, as it was the oil center for the USSR. You see, in the Soviet Union, a city needed to have a population of at least 1 million to have the chance to even consider such an expensive infrastructure project, and at the time, Tbilisi only had 600,000 residents. Not to be defeated, in 1951, during Stalin's visit to Borjomi, Charkuyani presented plans and justification for his idea. He received the green light. That same year, on the 25th of August, the Council of Ministers made a decision to start the construction of the Tbilisi Metro. In January 1952, the Tbil-Guirabmsheni, Tbilisi Tunnel Builder Department was formed, and Georgi Nasidze, who had a lot of experience in the field, was appointed as its head. As deputy, a man with experience in the construction of the Moscow Metro and later of the Transcaucasian Railway was appointed, one Viktor Gotsiridze, a name that will be mentioned in the future. The original plan was for the line to go to Tsereteli Avenue after Station Square. The remnant of this plan is the connecting tunnel between the first and Zaburtalo lines. After the death of Stalin in 1953, Khrushchev became the leader of the Soviet Union and immediately cancelled the construction works, because he hated Georgia. During the 50s, there was a boom in the construction of defensive structures, so in 1955, the Council of Ministers issued a decree on the use of underground works of the Tbilisi Metro for defensive purposes, which made it possible for the construction to continue legally. The Georgian government was not satisfied with the fact that the construction of a defensive structure rather than a metro was formally underway. Georgian Minister Mzhavanadze tried to convince Moscow that with the funds allocated for defensive tunnels, it would be more appropriate to build a dual transport and defense facility, as that would be useful not only during an emergency, but also during peacetime as a transportation method. In 1957, as a result of a complaint about the misuse of the funds sent to Tbilisi, a commission came from Moscow which studied all the shafts and came to the conclusion that part of the funds allocated for the defense system were spent for the construction of a metro. The chairman of the Council of Ministers of Georgia, Givi Javakhishvili, and Viktor Gotsiridze went to Moscow to explain. Here is an artistic recreation of how I think the meeting went down. Hello, Comrade Tudorov. You misuse money of our glorious country. I will have you executed. Hey, I'm building here. I don't know why I made him a New Yorker. Look at this glorious plan by Comrade Mzhavanadze. Okay, I bring up plan to council tomorrow. The next day, at the meeting of Council of Ministers, despite the differences of opinion, it was decided to instruct the Planning Committee of the USSR, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Ministry of Transport Construction, and the Council of Ministers of Georgia to develop a project for the construction of the metro in Tbilisi. Finally, it was official. In 1962, the Directorate of the Metro was created. In 1965, it got replaced with the Tbilisi Metro administration, and on the 11th of January 1966, a day which went down in history as a day of joy and celebration, Minister of Georgia Vasil Mzhavanadze opened the Tbilisi Metro. The line ran from Didube in the north, with 4 intermediate stations: Electro Depot, October, Station Square, and Marjanishvili, to Rustaveli in the city center. In 1967, the section from Rustaveli to Samas Yaragweli was opened, with Lenin Square proving the most difficult to build, as the escalator tunnel required the terrain to be frozen with liquid nitrogen to stop water from flooding it. In 1972, the line was extended to Samgori. 1979 brought the single largest expansion to the system, with the Saburtalo line opening, running from Station Square to Tbilisi. In 1985, on the 9th of November, the first line extended to Varketili. 7 days later, the line extended north for the first time to Temka station. 8 days after that, Gharmagele station opened on the same section. In 1989, the first line extended further north to Ahmet Ali Theatre in Gldani, a region which began development at the time. In 1992, there came a suite of renaming, with Guramishvili Avenue becoming Sarajishvili, Temka becoming Guramishvili, October becoming Nazaladevi, Lenin Square becoming Liberty Square, 26 Commissars becoming Avlabari, and Komkavshiri becoming Medical Institute. In 1995, Tbilisi changed its name to Viktor Gotsiridze to honor the now late head engineer of the metro. At the beginning of the new millennium, for the first time in the history of independent Georgia, in the year 2000, a new station was opened, with the planned name for it, Bakhtrioni, changing to Vajapshavela. In 2007, Viktor Gotsiridze changed its name back to Tbilisi. In 2011, there was another suite of name changing. Station Square changed from using the Russian word Vokzal to using the Georgian word Sadguri, but the meaning of the name didn't change. Tsereteli Avenue became Tsereteli, Polytechnical became Technical University, and Medical Institute became Medical University. In 2012, at the request of the Gotsiridze family, Electro Depot was renamed to Gotsiridze. For the next 5 years, nothing happened, until in 2017, State University Station was opened, bringing us to the metro as we know it today. There was a plan for a third line to be constructed, but the USSR kinda killed itself, so that never happened. More on that in a future video. The system had a lot of opposition saying that it would prove ineffective, but today the system has a daily ridership of 400,000, which means that it has a larger population per ridership factor, 35.05%, than Baku with 28.63% and Yerevan with 3.9%. Don't get me started on Yerevan. Additionally, the system has an interval as long as 4 minutes during off-peak times and as short as 40 seconds on the section between Rustaveli and Didube during rush hour. With that, I've said everything I wanted to. I now leave you with a clip from a documentary about the opening of the metro.
Tbilisi Metro,